Having a work bestie isn't just nice to have it, it's actually survival. It's like oxygen, this person that you can vent, you can talk to.
I think the real secret to workplace well-being is having that connection.
Hi, I'm Claude.
And I'm Jess.
We are corporate employees by day, entrepreneurs by night, and work besties for life.
Join us as we explore how work besties lift each other up, laugh through the chaos, and thrive together in every industry. Work besties!
Hi, besties. Welcome to Work Besties podcast.
Today, we're getting into one of our favorite topics ever, work besties as support system.
Yeah, because, listen, having a work bestie isn't just nice to have it, it's actually survival. You need it. It's like oxygen.
Totally. I think the real secret to workplace well-being is having that person who you can go to and just relax. You get that little bit of, you got this.
Yeah.
Take that deep breath. Everything's going to be okay.
And you know that it's not going to go anywhere, which is the most important. So there's this trust thing. And, it's, let's be real, friendship, well, and also, friendship at work really help with your mental health, your motivation, and your sanity.
Totally. And we've lived it. We've been the ones hiding in hallways or bathrooms whispering, what in the world is going on here?
Yeah. Oh my God, did you hear that? I know.
We totally need that one person who just totally gets it with you. So today we're going to unpack why that connection is so powerful and how to build one if you don't quite have one yet.
Yeah, exactly. So first, let's start, even though you're the insight person usually, but I love this insight. Gallup, that we always say it. Gallup has found that people who have a best friend are actually 7 times more likely to be engaged in their job. And of course, best friend at work.
Yeah. And can you think of any other fact that really can impact productivity, support, engagement at work?
Maybe, pizza party.
Maybe coffee. I think my caffeine helps me, but not as much as you clearly.
Oh, thank you. But it's not just engagement, right? It's also well-being. That's where it's not about all the company, but how we feel inside the company. Because let's be real, a lot of time we might be stressed, there are deadlines, there's chaos, there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah. And I think what helps with that is you don't feel so lonely. You feel like somebody else is there. They are going with it.
Yeah.
And yes, you might have those deadlines, you might have those never ending emails or even meetings, but being able to have someone who you can take that pause and or laugh. Like how many times have we been super stressed and we just giggle about something and it helps.
And it's like, you remember when we were, especially at 6 p.m., those 6 p.m., that's when we bought the late night. That's where we bought so many things online, like how Halloween costume,
the matching Halloween costume.
So, yeah. So there's make a big difference.
Yeah. And it helps you also feel like you belong because we know that there's still that loneliness epidemic that's out there. And that doesn't just mean for kids in school. It does also relate to those in the workforce. So having a work bestie helps provide that emotional connection, that psychological safety net, and it literally helps your brain relax.
Exactly. It's like an emotional armor, right? And I have to say also, it's something where you know that the person is going through the same thing. Right. You can say your significant other, they don't know what we're going through at work. So to have this person that you can talk to is really incredible.
Right. A way to state it and how we've said it before is having connections in all walks of life is super helpful, but having the person who really is living and breathing the same examples, it really helps or create that bond in a more unique way. So that really truly means that work besties in a way are kind of like your soulmate because they're good for your soul.
They are. Soulmate. So we can go into the how. Right? So how exactly do these friendships support our mental health?
Okay, so we are going to share with you 3 ways that we see it as helping. At least these were the top 3 that we felt were the most resounding. Number 1, venting, but venting without judgment, which I can personally attest to is the best part of God. One of the best. There's a lot, but I've been able to vent to you and there's never a judgment.
Yeah, and vice versa, right? It's the same thing where, and what I liked also, I remember one time you were venting and I started saying, oh, you should do this. And you just say, no, I just want to vent. Remember, it's to, as the other person that received the venting, sometimes it's just to vent. It's not to try to resolve. And it feels better. It's like it's everything come out from the inside. Venting is so important. And also to hear, no, you're not overreacting.
Or you are.
You are, which is fine. You know, you still let them. It doesn't matter.
And I appreciate because there are times where you're like, I think you are over. You're like, are you done? Are you done? I think you are overreacting. But you have your space and I get why. So that you're right. Without judgment, but somebody who will still hold you kind of accountable. Of course. Respect on that. But sometimes you do just need to vent. You really do.
It's good. A good venting session is good for the soul.
All right. So number 2, emotional validation.
Explain a bit more.
Yes, I would say this is one where your work bestie will kind of set different elements than, say, having a friend outside of work. By that, we mean when we go through certain situations at work, that person usually is there with you or knows the players, right? Mm-hmm. So perhaps you're in a meeting and you walk out and you're like, wow, that meeting was really awkward.
What the heck was that?
Having that person that replied back saying, what the heck was that, is the emotional validation sometimes you need. You don't need to vent on it. You just need someone to be like, was that right? Yeah. Real? Did that really just happen?
I know. It's like being in the twilight zone, and it helps you to keep from spiraling. So, yeah.
And then the other way you think about emotional validation too is there's been times where one of us have been in a meeting and presented and we've asked the other person for feedback. And usually the person, this is one where I do feel sometimes getting feedback, it's always a gift, but getting feedback can be hard, especially if it's a presentation or a meeting you've really prepped for. And having that trust in somebody who's going to tell it to you
real thing, yes.
It is easier to hear it from them and having that validation because, again, they know the background of you and what you did to prepare for it.
Exactly. So. Yeah, totally. And then there's accountability.
Number 3, accountability.
Number 3. So, for example, good work bestie will call you out of with love and something like, okay, it's 6 p.m. time to get out. You said that you wanted to leave at 5:30 or you wanted to leave at 6. It's 10 p.m. right now. So this accountability is also important.
Yeah, it helps giving you that reality check, but also having that cheerleader that's by your side.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. It's hard out there.
We are each other's emotional co-worker safety net.
And we have to figure out ways to help people from burning out. Yeah. That is one of the topics that we get requested the most about is support around burnout, and feeling seen, supported at work is that mental health game changer that will help get past some of those burnout situations. All right. So we just gave 3 things that we feel are going to help the most. Next, we thought we would give some real life situations that we've gone through. You said you were going to kick off with one.
And, everybody knows now that between the yin and the yang, right? I always say we are the yin and the yang, even at work. So not only our personality, but at work. So for example, Jess' strength was where my weakness and vice versa. My strength were your weakness. One of my weakness was a lot of data, right? Remembering the data and everything. And I remember during a presentation, and there were quite a lot of important people. Suddenly I had like a blank when someone asked me for a data point and I had a blank. And you were there and you helped me right away. You were able to answer and I felt so relieved. No, it's true. I really.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, I think it was, somebody asked like a double click into what you were presenting, which just means like the slide didn't have the exact answer and you knew it. I knew you knew it because you and I had practiced it. And I believe it was something actually we had worked on together. So I had the actual Excel file.
Yeah.
So yes, I helped you, but I believe I even said, like, Claude, you and I were just discussing this. You're the one who came to me on this.
Yeah.
Because it was true.
Yeah.
So I do think that's another thing we should put in there too is accountability, but also accolades for
Yes.
your work bestie helps substantially. Because I could have taken that time to steal your thunder, but I knew all the hard work you would put in there. And it's so important to have that level of trust with somebody to get to that.
Exactly.
Well, that's awesome. I did not think that was going to be the example you were going to do. I think the example I thought you were going to do was how I always forgot. We had that one email that we had to send together at the same time.
Yeah.
And I always forgot, like clockwork. And literally it wasn't like the exact same week of the month. And there was one where I think we were specifically told it had to go out at this exact time period. And you, like clockwork, came to me and you were like, are you ready to go? And so you kept me in check so I didn't have anything.
I know. And that's where I loved is, I don't like, there's competition, right? One, because we were in the same role, but different brands, let's say. So it could have gone to competition, but on the contrary, it was totally like helping each other. So could have been someone sending the email before the other one to make ourselves look good,
better.
But we never did that. So we actually, as a joke, we were like 1, 2, 3, 4,
and we hit it at the
and we're hitting. Those little things.
They matter. They do, right? I think it would always make us giggle too.
I know. And at the end, everybody was giggling because they knew.
If they came at the same
they were
moment.
always coming at the same moment.
Those are just a couple of examples. There's so many of them. And I think that's the cool thing about having a work bestie is they're always there to help you. And vice versa. You're always willing to lean in, help them.
Exactly. And to laugh.
Yeah.
And laugh.
Especially during the most stressful down days. There's times where I just say something and you give me the look and it just puts me in a different mood.
The look.
There's only one. Let's switch topics here. We do know that not all work friendships are smooth sailing. Even with your work bestie, there are times that things can get a little rocky or bumpy, and
which is normal, right? Every relationship.
And sometimes what sets that off, you could be put in situations where you make it a competition. Whenever we did that, we made it into something funny.
Yeah, but I don't think
it wasn't a real competition. It was a joking competition.
Yeah, I don't remember. Did we try something as a competition though?
We jokingly would be like, oh, I did this first, or I had 5 slides versus your 6 slides, like silly stuff. Yeah. Like we never made it into like a full on like.
Oh yeah, but it was as a joke.
Yeah, exactly. But there are some people that maybe are both going for a promotion or going for something that you could make into a competition. We always felt as work besties who were at the same level that as we're going on our journey, that even if we were trying to go for something the same, that it wasn't about making the other person look bad. It was always how do we lift both of each other up. So that's something that we totally do recommend is really always remember the importance of that.
Totally. Lifting each other. That is such a big one. That should have been the number one, actually.
But what we did recognize, though, is sometimes that person, and it isn't you, does get that new role. And suddenly they might become your boss or even a higher level. Mm. And that definitely puts a different spin on a work bestie friendship.
Okay. And I know we think differently.
We think a little differently.
We think a bit differently. For me, for example, if I have a friend that became my boss, I will be very careful. I will not joke or send like email, oh my God, I'm ready to kill myself. Or this guy.
Anyway.
But you know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God, I can't stand this guy. Because now I'm like, they are more like my boss. So I still want to be professional, even though I think and I'm sure that they know what I'm thinking, but I'm still not going to make those funny I ams or whatever as much.
So you set boundaries. Both set healthy boundaries. They're just different styles.
Exactly.
So for you, I think in this particular instance is what we're saying is you can still be best or work besties with them. You might just have to evolve your friendship in different ways. Mm-hmm. And in both ways, we do evolve them. Yours is more, you will still kid around with them and potentially talk about what's going on personally, or maybe a little bit. No?
Yeah. And I'm not going to,
but you're not
vent
going to
as
overshare.
much. Yeah, exactly. Or like overshare for work.
Right. Yeah. And I think where I shifted is I still sometimes overshare with my boss, who I'm very close with and absolutely adore, but I don't necessarily vent. I try to say, here's everything that's going on, and we kid about stuff.
Yeah.
And,
it's the same with me.
It's all about that level of trust, though.
Exactly.
To your point.
It's the same. Like we try, sometimes I will vent like crazy, and it's again healthy, right? Like sometimes some people on my team vent to me, and we're not work besties.
You
but
need that.
I'm still, very friendly, but I'm still being careful because they are still our superior.
Well, they're your boss. Nobody's superior.
Well, oh my God, yes.
I think you could say we're both valid, or we're both right. There's no right or wrong. The recommendation, though, would be from both of us is you're going to have to think about shifting your relationship a little.
Yeah. There's no competition, but I'm right.
You were right for your personality.
All right. Now, how do you build your support circle? If you don't have a work bestie, or you've always been afraid of having a work bestie and sharing, how do you get those connections?
Well, first you listen to our podcast and we become your work besties. Reach out to us. We love everybody. So we'll be your work bestie. You're all amazing.
Yes.
Jokes aside, if you really don't have a work bestie, we recommend start small. Find somebody that you have something in common with and ask them to grab coffee.
Yeah.
Maybe even lean in and offer to help somebody on a project. It could be something just as simple as a compliment too.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I saw your presentation. That was really cool. Where'd you come up with that?
Exactly. It's really showing genuine interest, because people then can feel that you're being authentic.
So yes, it's showing genuine interest. It's checking in regularly. If you've got weekly calls and you guys had a joke about the last time someone entered the call, they forgot to put their video on and it was really funny, or forgot to keep putting themselves off mute. Yeah. Maybe check in each one and be like, I wonder if so-and-so is going to forget mute again. Something silly like that, just to ensure you're consistently bringing back that check-in and that trust. And
also say, how you doing? Are you okay?
Yeah.
That's those really check-in is really important too. Are you fine?
It depends on how long you've worked in companies. And how the culture is in each of them. But sometimes I've found friends just watching comments through our team chats or Slack when you're in bigger meetings. Mm-hmm. And somebody says something that really made me giggle. And I don't do it through the meeting. I do a one-off just for them. And I've really built some strong relationships based off of that.
Exactly. And you don't have to be in the same department to be work besties.
Mm-hmm. It's actually probably better if you're not.
Yeah.
You can work both ways.
It goes both ways.
So here's the big takeaway. Friendships at work aren't fun, just fun. They're foundational.
Yeah. They help you laugh through all the chaos, deadline, and office politics. So friendship, humanize your work environment. And what is better than humanized through genuine connections?
Exactly. So text your work bestie or DM them a Slack or Teams message right now and tell them they're your emotional partner in crime.
Emotional partner in crime. That's so cute. Love it.
I mean, it's true. You're my hype person at times. You're my sounding board. You're my unofficial therapist. And sometimes I forget to tell you how much you matter to me. Yeah. So don't forget to remind them.
Detail. And send each other memes.
We should have had that as the fourth line item.
Memes
make the training go well. We'll see you next time on Work Besties Who podcast, where we'd like to keep it real, relatable, and slightly chaotic, just like that favorite office chat thread.
Yeah. And until next time, take care of yourself and your work bestie.
Bye. Remember, whether you're swapping snacks in the break room, rescuing each other from endless